Hello everyone, this is Jacopo, aka Prometheus, CEO of Dynamite Studios, and here we are with the fourth development update for the fall alpha. This was meant to come out a couple days ago, and it's actually going live one day after the start of the fall alpha, so we are a little bit late, but I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it very much anyway. First of all, before we get into the news, I would like to extend an apology from the whole team to all of you for what happened last night. We had a server crash. It was about 2:30 a.m. in Central Europe. It's a bit too technical to explain at this point, but basically we fed SpatialOS with a wrong value, and that blew up the whole deployment, the whole server. It's an error that we did on our side. Now we know, and this is never going to happen anymore because we have introduced fail safes everywhere in the code. But also what happened is that we hadn't rolled out our runtime word saves yet. So some of you might, well, probably have lost hopefully just a few minutes, but it could also be several hours of actual progression. That depends on whether you were playing or not when the crash happened. Now it's gone, and actually the new word saving system has been implemented already. So in this build, it's probably working. I think the server has been up for like a couple hours, and it's been already saved 4 times. So don't worry, you are no longer going to lose your progression. It's over. It's over for good. I know it's super annoying. That's also what alphas are for, but still, I would be annoyed myself if I were you. We're going to give you some Dynamite tokens as a compensation. I'm going to do that later today, and I'm going to post it on the forums. But yeah, so that was it. You're no longer going to lose your data from now on. Now, that being said, here we are with the development update. And what's new today? First of all, city maintenance. So let's get to it. As you can see, I'm in a city, and this is not a dev city. This is an actual player city in the world. It's up here in the corner. I've chosen it because it's one of the largest so far. There are many other large cities, but probably this one is, for now, is the biggest one. And this group of players has done a lot, and they have already built all the stuff that I want to show to you. So it's convenient to record in here. So I've just set myself as vice governor of the city so that I can show you all the menus. First one is the Upkeep menu inside of the town hall. This can actually be accessed by all citizens, so everybody can contribute to the maintenance of the city. Maintenance ticks every 24 hours. In this case, it's about 17 hours, 42 minutes until the next one. And whenever it ticks, it requires you to pay a certain amount of gold, proteins, cereals, and vegetables. Actually, vegetables are not implemented yet, so this is always 0. But eventually, there's also going to be vegetables. As you can see right now, the values are really low. This is a rank 1 city. It's new, like all the cities in the world. So it's 250 gold and 4 proteins. But as soon as the city grows, the values become much, much higher, particularly the requirement of cereals, which are really, really important in the economy of the world. Now, where does the maintenance system take resources from? It takes them away from a storage, an internal storage, to which items can be added but cannot be removed. And it's displayed here at the bottom. If you want to add gold, you need to add it directly to the treasury if you are a governor or vice governor. If instead you want to add heavy materials, you need to be carrying a cart or a hand cart. You just press plus and then you choose. As you can see, once you press plus, it tells you what you can add. In this case, for cereals, it's wheat sacks and rice sacks. So I have 3 in my cart, and I can just do this and deposit them. Now, what happens if you don't pay for maintenance? Well, every time you don't pay for maintenance, your city loses 1 rank and it accumulates debt. As long as the debt isn't paid, the city is going to lose rank every 24 hours. So again, 24 hours pass, maybe you have enough for the upkeep, it takes those away, but then you don't have enough to actually pay for the debt, you're still going to lose 1 rank. And it goes down until the city reaches rank 0. At that point, you have 3 days to actually pay your debts. otherwise the city is unclaimed and goes in ruins. So you have to be really careful about city maintenance. You can add a lot of stuff to the storage, so do the group effort, keep the upkeep tab, the upkeep storage always well stocked, and then you will have no problems, absolutely. Even if your community is not active on a specific day or for a couple of days, nothing happens. You can just fill the storage up to pay for the future maintenances. Now, what happens instead if your city has enough resources when maintenance is due? Well, if it does, and it also fulfills the requirement to achieve the next rank, it's going to gain 1 rank. So in this case, you can see that the requirements for rank 2 are 300 prestige and 5 citizens. And this city has 45 citizens and 1000 prestige. So this city actually could already reach rank 8 directly, which is pretty cool. But it's not going to do so immediately like it used to do in the previous tests. It's actually going to gain 1 rank every 24 hours whenever maintenance is successfully paid. Now, I've replaced my cart with a wagon because the next thing I'm going to show you is the city trading post, another huge addition in this fall alpha. Here we go, here it is. In this trading post, you have 2 different views. You have the merchant view and the governor, vice governor view, which is my current view. And as you can see here, I can look at all the heavy materials that exist in the game, disregarding whether they are present inside of the trading post or not. You have some convenient filters on top here. So let's just look at ingots, for example. Look at this, all of them. Now for each item, I can choose whether my city, whether this trading post, which means the whole city, is selling this type of item, buying this type of item, or just doing nothing. So for example, let's say that I want my city to be buying blood iron ingots. Well, then I can say, okay, the price is 40 gold coins per ingot, and I don't want to buy more than 25. Now, this means that if people start selling ingots to me, once the trading post reaches 25 ingots, merchants are no longer going to be able to sell them to my city. Of course, there is also a button to add them and to take them away. I don't have any in my wagon, and there are none in the trading post, so I can't do anything. As you can see, it says to 0. And all the actions here are set to none. So I think that in this very moment, this city is not buying and is not selling anything. But let's just do it for fun. For the time being, the city is now selling blood iron ingots, which are not available in the storage, so nobody can buy them. But the city now is also buying bronze ingots for 40 gold coins each at a maximum of 21. Now let's switch to the merchant view. So I've just set myself as regular citizen of the city, and now I see the merchant view of the trading post. Actually, this is not open to citizens only. Everybody can interact with the trading post of a city as a merchant, so people can actually make a living as traveling merchants, buying from one city where prices are low, moving with their carts or wagons, way better with wagons, to another city where prices are high and sell. If you remember, I had set this city to buy and sell blood iron ingots and bronze ingots, and what I can see now as a merchant is exactly this. Now the city has nothing in store, so I can't buy anything, but I could actually sell them something if they had loaded the trading post with money, but they haven't. So as you can see here, the city has this trading post has no items in it, and this trading post is also completely empty of gold. This can actually be added by the governor. I didn't show you that before, but there's a plus button here as a governor where you can add money to the trading post. In this moment it's empty, so this trading post is basically useless for me as a merchant. But soon, once cities grow and become profitable and they start to have to trade, which is going to happen soon, then you're going to see many trading posts well stocked with provisions and well stocked with gold at which you can trade. Well, that was it for the trading post. Again, I think it opens up a whole new gameplay, so we can definitely consider that a major addition to the game. And next one is map discovery. Now, I'm sure that many of you have noticed that all the points of interest in the map are no longer visible when you create a new character. They are all hidden behind a question mark. If you mouse over on them, you can actually see what the point of interest is about. In this case, it's a resource node. In this case, it's a city territory. And here in the Goblin Hills, it's a combat hotspot. Obviously, this is a Goblin camp. I already know that. Many of you probably know that, but your character doesn't know about that. Every time you walk into the area of a city, of a resource node, or of a combat hotspot, you actually gain knowledge points. And I think that the whole map gives you about 85,000 knowledge points, so it's really, really a lot, and for pure exploration. So it's now a very important part of the game for you to visit the whole map, discover all there is to discover, just to get those knowledge points. This is not the only part of progression that was implemented, though. There's a whole new part that is even more important than discovery of points of interest, and those are the legends. So what are these legends? Legends are creatures that have done exceptional deeds in the past, usually evil deeds, and have thus gained the favor of a god. Well, typically it's Babilis, but it's also Nelena, for example, for neutral creatures, or Tyros for good aligned creatures. And they have thus been given the chance to reincarnate after they die. Not all creatures have a legend among their ranks. As of today, 11 of them do. They haven't spawned in the game yet, but they will very soon. Most likely already this weekend. Where do they spawn? Well, each one has its own specific location or group of locations. For example, the Spider Lich legend spawns in these two locations in the Vale of Shadow, while the Ghoul legend spawns in these two locations in the Creeping Woods. Of course, these creatures are enormously more powerful than their regular counterparts. Some are still fairly easy challenges, such as a Bear legend, while instead if you face a Earth Elemental legend or a Treant legend, well, that's a completely different story, right? They're going to smash you in a couple seconds if you're alone. So this is actually content for groups, end game content for groups. Now the easy legends can actually be done just by a group of 2 or 3 people, but it's still end game content. Because, you know, if you go against a Mountain Troll legend and you don't have metal armor, it's going to kill you in like 2 attacks, probably. So you should be very well prepared and have a good strategy to take them down. I have actually spawned a few of them on the road, so let's have a sneak peek. First, here comes a Bear legend. This one is probably not the worst, right? Relatively easy, although being alone, it would destroy me pretty easily. Next up, I think we have a Giant Spider legend. Oh, here it is. Let's stay away and move around it, otherwise it's going to paralyze me with nets and webs for a very long time. And here we have, oh, this is a Treant legend. And next up on the road, I think we have the Earth Elemental legend. Oh, here it is. Now, just to give you an idea of how much stronger and faster they are compared to the regular counterparts, which are pretty slow, this one is actually faster. And it's probably going to be able to keep me in a perma-slow and stun lock if I stay next to it. And you know, here now it's alone, but usually it's not alone. So if I was a regular player at this point, I would already be very, very dead. So why would you want to kill these legends? Just for the glory? Just for the good loot? Well, it's very fun, and they also have very good loot, so that might be reason enough. But there's actually a way more important reason. See, as of today, the knowledge points that you can gain from killing all the monsters and gaining 100% knowledge from monsters, exploring all the points of interest in the map, as I've told you before, and interacting with all the different types of resources, it's only going to get your knowledge up to a point. Probably the point where you can unlock half of your talent tree, probably even less. So how do you get all the remaining knowledge? Well, you get them from lost tales that you can collect from these legendary creatures. Lost tales look like this, look like a stone tablet. There are 11 different tales as there are 11 different creatures. Now it's not like one creature always drops the same lost piece of lost knowledge. They are area based, so all the creatures inside of the Veil of Shadows will drop stories related to the Veil, while from creatures in the woods you'll be able to collect tales of Ancient Mir, for example. Obviously I've added a few to my inventory, and now I'm back in the city where I was before to actually read them. To acquire the knowledge from a lost tale, you actually need to be resting in the city. You cannot do that on the fly right after looting them from the creature you've just defeated. And this is mostly done to make, well, the whole adventure more exciting, but also for PvP, so that these tablets can become the object of PvP, open PvP competition in the world once that is implemented in the next test. Now, let's sit down and rest. And let's acquire one of them. The Coming of Tyros, page 3. That's a common one that's only giving me 1500 knowledge points. The Dark Ascension, page 2. Now this is a rare one, and it's actually giving me 5000 knowledge points. And now it's red. If I then go inside my Book of Knowledge on the tab Lost Tales, you can see that I've acquired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different tales out of 11. However, each tale has 4 different pages that you need to find. As for the Dark Ascension, I've just acquired page 2 of 4. I've just done that. The Fall of Hollowgrove, also page 2. The Arrival of Man, I've acquired page 2 and page 4. So I'm still pretty far away from getting all the 44 pages that are actually going to allow me to complete the 60 talent points inside of your talent tree. And I know you might be wondering, but wasn't the talent tree just 1000 knowledge point for each talent point? That was super easy. Well, that's how it used to be, but right now the conversion ratio actually starts from 2500 knowledge points for 1 talent points, and it ends up with 5000. So it's way more expensive, and as I've said, you can maybe unlock 20 talent points just with regular PvE and exploration and first time discoveries, but the remaining ones you need to get yourself a group of players and join the battle for legends. Speaking of PvP also, once a legend spawns in the world, it's announced in the chat to the whole server, and an exclamation mark appears on the map for everyone to see. There can't be more than 5 or 6 legends spawned in the world at the same time, and they can be very far away from each other. So you could have one in the Vale, one here in the woods, one in Heartwood, and maybe one mountain troll here in the trolls area. So legends are going to be the stage for small scale up to medium scale fights between different groups of players, and it's something that we're really excited to see. So it's time for me to leave this city for good. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're excited by the prospect of fighting against legendary monsters that are really powerful and really rewarding. Coming very soon. Stay tuned. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend.